All right. So today, you should just know this week, yesterday, a few days ago, was the Yahrzeit of the Rabbenu Yonah. The Rabbenu Yonah was one of the Rishonim. You have to understand when we speak about the Rishonim, who they are. There was a story about the Rambam. You know the Rambam? One guy, I'll never forget this, one guy wanted to see the Yirat Shamayim. You know, in life, it's very good to do everything. Mitzvot, it's very good to learn, but a person has to have Yirat Shamayim. What's Yirat Shamayim? Yirat Shamayim is knowing that Hashem is there watching you. You know, on Gemara Berachot, Kafchet Amud Bet, it says over there, Rabbi Yechon is passing away, Rabbi Yohanan, and his students say, give us a beracha. Give me beracha. Imagine the rabbi is on his deathbed, and this is the beracha he gives. You ready? Listen to this. Roman, listen to the beracha that he gives. He gives his student a beracha that you should have Yirat Shamayim, like you have like you fear people. What? The student says, Rabbi, come on. This is the beracha you're giving us? You should have Yirat Shamayim like you fear people? You know what the rabbi says? Halevai, ulevai, you should have that level of Yirat Shamayim. A lot of times people, they're seeing what the alam thinks of them. What is people going to view me as? If I do this, what are people going to say? You understand what's going on? You hear what's going on? It's an amazing thing. Who's watching me? Who's seeing me? His beracha was that just like you see people in front of you watching, seeing what you're doing, you should have God in front of you watching to see what you're doing as well. Because if you would see God in front of you, a lot of things you wouldn't do. You hear what's going on? A lot of things you wouldn't do in your life. You wouldn't be able to sit on your couch like a couch potato, you know, sitting there with a big fat popcorn and munching and relaxing like, oh, if you knew God is sitting there, you wouldn't be able to. I had a roommate in Mikdash, I'll never forget. The way he got dressed was an amazing thing. He got dressed under the blanket every single day. I said, what are you doing? He said, listen, God's watching me. How could I change like this in front of God? You know what's going on over here? He put his blanket, he changed his pants, it's the whole thing. It was the whole thing. It was a whole process. Like, you know, like, just get dressed. No, God's watching me. I can't just go. If you knew God is really watching you, a lot of things you wouldn't be doing the way you've been doing it. That's Yirat Shamayim. That's Yirat Shamayim. And now let me explain the story now about the Rambam. There was a fellow that was fasting and praying. Let me see the Yirat Shamayim, the fear of God, of the Rambam himself. And he fasted 1 day, 2 days. Finally, after many times praying, he had a dream in Shamayim. They told him, tomorrow, you're going to get the Yirat Shamayim of the Rambam, you're going to feel it. Next day he wakes up. He feels this wild sensation of Yirat Shamayim. Like Mamash HaKadosh Baruch Hu is right there, every second watching him. After a few hours, he said, take it away. I don't want it. I can't handle it. It's too much. Why? Because God is watching me every single second. It's crazy. You wouldn't be able to do what you want to be able to do. You wouldn't listen to the things that you're listening to. You wouldn't see the things that you're seeing. You wouldn't talk the way you talk. You wouldn't sit the way you sit. You wouldn't eat the way you eat. Everything would be totally different. You're not going to go and take the French fries and put it in the thing and lick your fingers too. You won't be able to do it. God's watching me. I can't do it. Understand what's going on? You know what's going on? I won't be able to walk like, I'm not even joking. And that's what I'm saying. Rabbenu Yonah, his Yahrzeit was this past week. And Rabbenu Yonah wrote not Sha'ar Tshuva only. He wrote a lot of other Sfarim. We have the Sha'ar Tshuva though. He wrote other Sefarim. He wrote Sha'ar Torah, Sha'ar Avodah, but Sha'ar Tshuva we have. And he was the cousin of the Ramban, Nachmanides. Ramban. He was his cousin. I believe the Ramban's father was Rabbenu Yonah's mother, brother and sisters. Rabbenu Yonah's mother and the Ramban's father were brothers and sisters. That made them first cousins. Ramban and Rabbenu Yonah. Rabbenu Yonah, he had a student who was his student? The Rashba. The Rashba had a student who was his student? The Ritba. These are all the Rishonim. I want to just tell you something. These Rishonim were malachim, were angels in a body. They were the next levels. And this is a person you have to understand. The Yirat Shamayim, it's very good. You have to learn Torah, you have to have good midot, you have to keep mitzvot, you have to do everything. But there's one thing a person sometimes forgets. And he forgets Yirat Shamayim. He forgets having fear of God in his life. You know what I'm saying? Where's the fear of God? You know, sometimes a person, you say, this guy's religious. This girl, you call her religious? You ever hear that? No. You ever hear that before? This person's religious? You understand what I'm saying? I'll never forget. When I first moved into my house, literally the first day. Now, I didn't do anything wrong doing this, but I'll tell you what happened, and I think I said this once. I'll never forget. I moved into my new house, and one of the neighbors puts their garbage, it was garbage day, and puts like their 3 cans right in front of my house. Like I have my 3 garbages, and they put the 3 garbage. Like, what's going on over here? Like, I don't have 6. It's like you walk out, you see 6 big giant garbage. Like, 3 is mine. Like, where's the other 3? So I moved it back. I moved it back to that other person's thing. And the lady of the house, this was like many years ago. The lady of the house, you're religious. You're moving my garbage. So there's nothing wrong. I didn't do anything wrong. What are you doing here? But the view that people view you, if you're a religious person, your caliber has to be on a higher caliber. Your caliber has to be more refined. You don't act the way everybody else acts because you're a refined human being. You understand? It says to me, Chacham that has a stain on his shirt, like a big punishment. He has a big punishment. He says, well, why? And a regular person, no, because Chacham, they look at him as a more refined individual. You know, I remember many years ago, my father asked me, how come you don't come with us? How come you don't do this? What's the problem? And I told him, it's not dignified for a person that's a rabbi to go to do like that. I said. So then, 2 months later, he comes back to me and says, you're 100% right. I said, what do you mean? So I saw somebody that's dignified, and he was